This is the second of the Something from Nothing projects. We're going to use a couple of filter recipes to create some texture effects. First thing you're going to do is create a new file, nameplate, with your initials, and create a web pre-formatted at 1024 by 768 and hit OK. So there it is. First part of this one is making the stone background. You're going to create a second layer. Let's call it stone. And then we're going to use a marquee tool to pick an area like that. I'm going to use the paint bucket tool to fill that layer with white. You can't see it, but it's there. And we're going to apply 3 filters to that to give it a stone look. First one is clouds. Clouds makes a kind of smoky-like thing based on the foreground and background. So make sure your background and foreground are set to black and white. You do that by hitting the D key, and that'll do that. Next filter we're going to apply is the dry brush. Get that at the filter gallery. There we go. Dry brush. And we drag the handles all the way to the right. And that kind of, roughens the clouds up. Hit OK. Next step is to put an emboss filter on this. Go down to Stylize, Emboss, and you can see what that does. 135-degree angle, which is up here, 3 pixel depth. And 100%. You can see it gets a little stronger. All these numbers are approximate. Hit OK. So there's our stone look. Okay. Deselect now. And now we're going to make a wood layer. Make a new layer. Name it wood. Fill the layer with white, the whole thing. Paint bucket tool again. You're still on white. There we go. Now we're going to apply another set of filters. First one we're going to apply is noise. Noise, add noise. And I have it set at Gaussian, monochromatic, and about 200%. Hit OK. And we're going to blur this now. Blur. Motion blur. Left and right. 0 angle. I'm going to leave it at 33. Once again, these numbers are approximate. Hit OK. And I'm going to sharpen it to get it to look kind of wood grainy. Sharpen, unsharp mask, and adjust these numbers up. There. And now to make it even more wood grainy, I'm going to use the Liquify. Go to here, Liquify, filter, and there's the Liquify panel. Be in this tool right here, a little push around tool. Use the bracket keys to make a bigger brush and reduce the brush pressure. And I'm just going to kind of like give it a little bit of graininess just by dragging across. I'm going to take the bloat tool here, make it much smaller with the bracket keys, and create some knots. And hit OK. There we are. Now, even more fancy steps. I'm going to use the Dodge and Burn tool. Small, fuzzy brush, and just mid-tones. Darken the knots a little bit, just clicking on them. Make the brush bigger. Reduce the exposure to 50% or so. And run some darkness. Hold down the Alt key and do the same thing. That makes it lighter. Just add a little variety in there. And to make it even more wood-like, I'm going to have to give it some color. I do that with hue and saturation. So we go into Image, Adjustments, Hue and Saturation. Control U works. I'm going to hit the Colorize button here and move this over to something that looks kind of brown, like wood. Increase the saturation. Over that, maybe darken it a little bit. And there's our wood. Now I want to put a wood oval on the stone background, so I'm going to use the Marquee tool again. Use it elliptical rather than rectangle. Go like that. Just kind of guess how big that oval is going to need to be. Something like that. I'm going to Control-Shift-I to inverse the selection and delete my excess wood. There we go. Not a bad guess. I'm going to deselect, and I'm going to use the Move tool to line it up pretty much where I want. Save your file.